Hi everyone, it's Nancy again. I hope everyone's doing well. I'm back again to show you a quick little project. I have these envelopes, these gift card envelopes in my shop, and I wanted to show you the different ways that you can make a gift out of these, small gift for somebody, or even ways that you can include them in your bigger journals. There's 3 different ways I wanted to show you, and today I'm going to show you the first one, and then I think I'm going to split them up, the 3 different ways, into 3 different videos, just to make it easier for you and actually for me in terms of prepping for the video. So today, let me show you these envelopes first. They come unfolded actually, and this one actually has a heart on it as a closure. I used to sell those in my shop, and I switched them to the ones I sell in my shop now have butterflies as a closure. These have hearts on them, and that's how it works. You just fold it up and this little thing slips through the hole. Sorry about that, that's Kitty. Hold on, let me get rid of Kitty. Sorry about that. But I had to start the video before it would get dark. So, and he was sitting on the windowsill, and I thought, well, I'm just gonna start. So I apologize for that. Anyways, yeah, so the little heart slips through this hole and it acts as a closure. And there's just the right size for a gift card. And that's how I advertise them, as gift card envelopes. But there's other things you can do with them. So today I was going to show you how to make them into a little journal. And let me just untie this. And I added a little extra closure because I like the look of it. It added a little extra to it, but also because when it gets a little thick, you know, I'm not sure how well that little closure is going to hold. So this, you know, string around it as a extra closure kind of gives it a little bit more assurance that it's not going to come open. So all I did was, you know, fold together, make a signature of about 10 or 12 pages, and I sewed it in with some wax thread, and I included different pages, different kinds of can't talk today. Different kinds of papers. Sorry about that. That was for photography. You know, some coffee dyed book page. This is part of a some wrapping paper I saved. This is actually part of a envelope. This is a digital that I had left over. Some music. And I'll probably go in here later and put a light coating of white gesso on it so you can write on it, and you'll be able to see the notes through the gesso. This is just some brown masking paper that was left over from a project I did. This is another leftover from a digital. I made my brother some cards, and this was the paper I used. This is actually from a paper bag that I had, and I cut it up. Another digital, and then that's it. The other side is the same. So, and these labels, there's some on the back. I'll show you those when I show you the back, which I'm going to do now. Let me just close this up temporarily. On the back, I just collaged it with some papers. So let's make a little journal and show you how I did it. So we've got the envelope that's been folded. One thing I forgot, scoring tool. It's good when you fold these to score, burnish the folds. That helps a lot. So we've got our little envelope made. Now with mine, I put the journal in on this side, but for today, I think it works better when the journal is tied on this side. So it doesn't really matter though. Either way is fine. Okay, so I have all my papers together and I'll give you the measurements that I used. This page unfolded is 5 1/4 by 3 7/8. That leaves you about 1/8 of an inch from top to bottom, and it leaves you about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit less on the side after you sew it in. And I included basically all the same papers that I had in the other book, except right, I think it's in the middle where I put it. Ooh. Yeah. I wanted to show you that you can also use papers that are not, you know, full size 3 7/8. You can, you know, use different size papers, and that makes it real interesting too. Like here I have layered together like a half sheet of vellum and then a half sheet of coffee dyed. It just adds interest to the whole journal. So this is, let me count these. One, I'll count these two as a full page. Two, I think it's about 10. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is 10 pieces, and it is fairly thick. And the thickness will depend on the papers that you use. And a lot of these papers that I've used in here are on some fairly thick paper. So you might be able to add maybe 2 more, you know, full-size pages to your journal. It just depends on the thickness of the paper. I evened my edge up. Once you put your signature together, you'll find that your pages will be sticking out kind of unevenly along the edge, and that's because of the way that they're stacked inside. And you can even this up on your trimmer if you have a fairly sturdy trimmer. And if you don't have something like that, you can use like a metal straight edge and a box cutter knife like this one, and then you just line it up on a mat. Make sure you have some kind of cutting mat underneath, and you just line it up, and you just don't press down real hard. Just press down enough to cut through maybe one piece of paper, and keep going over and over and over again till you get down to the bottom. That's the best way to even them up without messing up your straight line or tearing the pages. So just thought I'd give you that little tip there. It takes practice, but you can do it. Okay, so we have our pages together. The next thing I'm going to do is take 2 binder clips like this, and I'm going to put one here and one on the other side. Then I'm going to take my book or my envelope, and I marked the holes. There's 2 holes you have to make. I marked them at 1 inch from the envelope. So let's say you have you mark these holes at 1 inch from the edge. 1 inch from this edge, 1 inch from this edge. That means when you put your signature in, those holes will be a little bit shorter to measure because you've left 1/8 of an inch on this side, 1/8 of an inch on that side. So it'll be 1 inch minus 1/8. So let me get a pencil instead. I would mark, I marked my signature first, and then I marked, went through the holes I made, I'll show you, and marked the envelope. So I'm going to mark these at 1 inch minus 1/8 is 7/8, so I'll put a mark at 7/8, and then I'll move this over and put measure in 7/8 and put a mark there. Then you need to have like an awl or a pokey tool, which is what people call it. It's a paper piercer tool to poke some holes. And I suggest you either use like an old catalog or phone book or a piece of foam like this underneath before you poke your holes. I like to keep my book kind of like this when I'm poking my holes. That way I get more of an assurance that the hole is going to go through the fold and out this fold instead of off on the side. So I'll put my tool right in the middle there and poke one hole. Let me push it all the way through. And I'll do the same this side. All the way through. Then I bring over my envelope in order to mark it. And I center it up. I center it up inside, about 1/8 of an inch from this edge, 1/8 of an inch from that edge. And then I just lightly stick my piercer through and lightly mark the cardboard or craft paper below. I went through on that one, but I like to mark it first and then push them through. So the piercer made a little mark there. So I'm going to poke my hole. And then it made a little hole there. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is take a needle. I suggest you use like a tapestry needle. Tapestry needles have a blunt end and a fairly large eye, which makes it easier for you to thread the cord through. And what I'm using today is not really waxed linen thread. It's actually waxed macrame cord that I had from making jewelry, and I have a whole roll of it, and I thought I'd use it up making these little journals instead of use my good waxed and linen thread that I use for regular journals. What I do is I try to flatten out the end with my fingernail, and then I'll thread it through. It's much easier to thread through the needle that way. And I just pull it through just enough so I'm not, rubbing the wax off on the rest of it. Let me move these things out of the way. If you want a wraparound like this one, then you want to start, you want to put your needle in from the outside part, from the outside to the inside. If you want your signature to tie inside in the middle, then you would start from the inside. So I'm going to start from the outside, and I keep these binder clips on till I'm done threading it. And I'll poke a hole, I'll poke my needle through this hole. Now the eye sometimes will need to be tugged on a little bit in this case. I just put lotion on my hands too. That wasn't smart. Okay, so I got that through. And then make sure your signature is the right side up. So I'll go to a page I know has an up and down to it. Make sure I haven't turned it upside down. I think there's a book page in here. Ah, see? It's upside down. So we have to turn it this way. And just stick your needle through this hole. And got more tugging to do. Sometimes I'll use a jewelry tool to grab onto it, which I might have to today. I might have to get up and get it if I can't get it through, because my hands are have lotion on them. Yeah. All right. So this will pull it through. There we go. Sorry about that. And then I'll remember not to put lotion on my hands next time I go to sew in a journal. Tip 1 on making journals. Okay, and then you go out the other way through this hole and this hole. And these little journals aren't just for junk journal makers. I mean, you could use these as a small handmade gift for somebody, or they make great party favors if you're willing to put in the time to make them. I mean, once you get them going, like in a mass make, it wouldn't, take that much time. Yeah, so they can be used for all kinds of other reasons other than just, being used in as an addition to a larger junk journal. So, and I make sure my ties are even. And the length of the thread I used is about between 30 and 36 inches, or 30 inches and a yard. I like to give myself enough, room on the end to put beads on, and to have enough room to tie the knots too. Okay, so that's done. Now you can fold your book in. I like to take my bone folder, let me put this aside, and just kind of burnish the spine a little. It's my kitty, I apologize. He can be fairly demanding. Okay, so basically your journal is all done. Just like that. Now we're going to put some beads on the ends, and all you have to do for this is just make sure that your the threads you have will go through the holes. So we'll thread on this one, and then this heart bead, which actually needs to be poked at from underneath. I found that when I was making the other ones, the other one. There we go. Put this bead on, and what I did was to measure it, like where I wanted the beads. I wrapped it around first, wrapped this end around, wrapped it around again, and then tied it in a knot, you know, the knot that I wanted to make, either a bow or just one loop like I had. And that way I can tell how long or where to put the knot for the beads. So I'm going to make the knot right about there. And I just hold the beads where I want them to be, and I make a overhand knot. And then I do another knot on top of that one. And that should keep the beads from falling off. And just tighten it and take your scissors and clip it. And I won't do the other side on film, but just tighten it, and you can decorate the back in any way you want. I'll give you some ideas for decorating. You could do a napkin decoupage on it. You can look up lots of videos on napkin decoupage and get an idea of how it's done. You can collage on it like I did. You can just put stickers on if you want, or labels like these. You can put some fussy cuts on or die cuts on it. There's all different ways you can stamp on it. However, you know, which way or your heart desires to decorate it. So that's my project for today. I hope you enjoyed this. I apologize for Kitty, but like I said, I wanted to get the video made before it got dark. So I hope you all are doing well. I hope you're surviving this crazy, crazy weather. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.